and welcome back to Sorare Assist. Today I'm going to be giving an update on all the leagues around the globe, looking at the potential relegation fodder and confirming any title winners and looking at the European places as well, the qualification for the European tournaments. Do this video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below, you'll get a free limited card. And you can also now pick up a free Sorare Ultimate Guard ebook. The link for that is in the description. Okay then guys, let's get on with the update on the league tables then. So we'll start with the Argentine Liga Professional de Football then. So River Plate at the top of the moment, 5 points clear of San Lorenzo. Bottom of the table we've got Union, Arsenal and Banfield. Moving on to the Austrian Bundesliga then, we're in the Championship round and the relegation round in this division. Top of the table at the moment is Salzburg. 6 points clear of the nearest rival, Sturm Graz. So it's looking good for them to qualify for the Champions League. Lask, Austria Wien and Rapid are all fighting out for the playoff places, Conference League and the Europa League spots. Bottom of the table we've got WAC sitting top in terms of the relegation round. Joint top actually with Austria Last Now, closely followed by Tyrol. It's not looking good for Ried at the moment, but Altach could still get dragged into that relegation zone and get relegated to the Austria Bundesliga 2. Moving on to the Pro League then, we are on to the Championship round and the qualifying round here in the Belgian Pro League. Top of the table, well, joint top is Rouen Antwerp and St. Galesi, closely followed by Ghent. Looks like Club Brugge are going to have to settle for a place in the Conference League next season. Qualification round, Ghent's currently top for the qualification to the Europa League qualification. 8 points clear, so it looks like they're going to be getting that European qualification next season. Moving on to the Brazilian Serie A then, so 7 games in so far. Botafogo top of the table, closely followed by Palermes and Fluminense. Bottom of the table we've got Corinthians, Cuba, Atletico MG and Coritiba. Coritiba have only got 2 points from the first 7 games, so it's not looking good for them. So on to the Chilean Premier Division then, so currently at the top of the table we've got Corusal, 28 points. Joint top actually with Hachipato, and bottom of the table Magallanes and Deportes Copiapó. On to the Chinese Super League, top of the table is Port, followed by Shenzhou and Chengdu. Bottom of the table we've got Xichang and Nantong. On to the Croatian division then, top of the pile is Dinamo Zagreb, 10 points clear of the nearest rival Hajduk Split. So it looks like Dinamo Zagreb are going to be in the Champions League next season. Hajduk Split are also looking a really safe bet. In fact, they have qualified already for the Conference League, and Osijek are also looking to get that qualification into Europe. Bottom of the table is Simonik, 27 points. They're looking likely to get relegated. In the Danish Superliga then, we're into the Champions round and the relegation round. Top of the table at the moment, 4 points clear, is Copenhagen, followed closely by Nordsjælland. Looks like Copenhagen are looking a good possibility to get in the Champions League next season. In terms of the relegation round, Midtjylland at the top of the table, so they're looking safe and also in the qualification playoffs potentially. At the bottom of the table, we've got Lundby and Horsens, also closely followed by Aalborg, who could also have a potential chance of getting relegated here. 2 teams will get relegated. On to the English Premier League then, Manchester City are confirmed as champions. Arsenal have really bottled it this season. They was doing really well until it got to the final hurdle. So Manchester City have won the title with 2 games to spare. It's going to be a close battle between Newcastle United and Liverpool for that final top 4 finish to get that Champions League qualification. Aston Villa and Tottenham are also battling it out for the Conference League and Europa League qualification. Brentford are not too far behind them as well and still have an outside chance. Bottom of the table we have Southampton, who have now been relegated. Battling out to avoid relegation is Everton, Leeds and Leicester as we'll go into the final game of the season. So on to the Championship then. This is actually concluded now. There is some playoff matches going on though, so we'll come on to that in a moment. But Burnley and Sheffield United have been promoted to the Premier League. Relegated is Reading, Blackpool and Wigan. So on to the playoffs then. Coventry and Luton find themselves in a final for a place in the Premier League. That is on the 27th of May. So PSG have pretty much won this now mathematically. PSG looking like certain champions here with 84 points. Lens did well to finish second though, really good season for them. In third place is Marseille. Looks like Lens are going to have that Champions League spot potentially unless they really do screw things up in the last couple of games. We've got Monaco and Lille, and also Rennes with an outside chance, and potentially even Lyon fighting it out for the rest of the European places in the Europa League and the Conference League. Bottom of the table, we've got Angers, who have been relegated. Rijeka are also relegated now, and so are Troyes. Nantes and Auxerre are battling it out for that final relegation spot, though, trying to avoid that relegation. French League 2, we've got Le Havre and Bordeaux looking good for the promotion to the French League 1. Closely followed though by Metz, who still have a chance of getting that qualification. At the bottom of the table, we've got Chamos, who are now confirmed to be relegated. We've also got Nîmes, who are also now relegated. But battling out to the bottom of the table, there's still a few teams that could go down. 2 spots left for that relegation there. We've got Valenciennes, Laval, Pau, Dijon, Annecy and Rodez, all still with a chance of getting relegated. On to the German Bundesliga then. Now this is an exciting one. Dortmund could have a chance here of claiming the German Bundesliga title. I think it's been quite a number of years since they last won the German Bundesliga as well, obviously with Bayern Munich dominating. It is going into the last game here, 1 game left. They're currently 2 points ahead of Bayern Munich, who sits 2nd place. We've got Leipzig and Union Berlin, also Freiburg battling it out for the top 4 spot. And then we've got Leverkusen, Wolfsburg and Frankfurt trying to get amongst the European places. Bottom of the division, we've got Hertha, who have now been confirmed as relegated, and we've got Schalke, Bochum and Stuttgart fighting out to avoid that relegation. So in terms of the final matches for the championship then, we've got Bayern away to Köln, Dortmund are at home to Mainz. So it's looking really good for Dortmund to potentially claim the German Bundesliga title. On to the German Bundesliga 2 then, we've got Darmstadt at the top of the table. They are now confirmed as promoted to the German Bundesliga. We've also got Heidenheim as well, with a really good chance of promotion. And HSV are hoping to get into the promotion playoffs, which I think they've already secured, judging by the points. Bottom of the table, we've got Sandhausen at the bottom. They are now relegated. Regensburg are also now relegated as well. And Bielefeld, Nürnberg and Braunschweig are all hoping to avoid the relegation battle. On to the Italian Serie A now then. So top of the table and champions are Napoli. First time since there was champions since Diego Maradona left the club all those years ago. So this is a fantastic feat for Napoli, and they absolutely stormed the title this season. Currently 17 points ahead of the closest rival, Juventus. Juventus, Lazio, Inter and Milan are all fighting it out for that top 4 positions there to qualify for the Champions League. Atlanta and Roma are also battling it out for the Conference League and Europa League places as well. But of course, Roma are in the final of the Europa League. So I think if they win that, that will confirm their qualification for the Europa League next season. But that might be worth checking on. But fantastic feat there for Napoli. Champions for the first time since Diego Maradona left the club. And at the bottom of the table, we've got Sampdoria, who have now been relegated. Cremonese are also very likely to get relegated as well. Verona, Spezia and Lecce are all fighting it out to avoid the drop into the Italian Serie B. Speaking of which, let's move on to the Italian Serie B table then. So Frosinone and Genoa have been promoted to the Italian Serie A. Bari, Parma and Cagliari have all booked their place in the promotion playoffs. Südtirol, Regina and Vicenza have also confirmed their place in the qualification playoffs. Bottom of the table, we have Perugia, Spal and Benevento all relegated. And Cosenza and Brescia are going to be fighting it out for the relegation playoffs. Moving on to the Japan J-League then. So at the moment we have Vissel Kobe, who are having a fantastic season. Top of the table with 30 points. Closely followed by Yokohama F Mariners. Nagoya are also doing well near the top of the table. And Kashima and Hiroshima are also not too far behind. Bottom of the table we've got Gamba Osaka with 1 win in 14 games. Not looking good for them at all. Only 7 points after those first 14 matches. Not too far behind though, Shonan and Yokohama also at the bottom of the table in the Japan J-League so far, 14 games in. Moving on to the Liga MX Klausura then. At the top of the table at the moment, we've got Monterrey. 6 points clear actually, Monterrey doing really well. Closely followed by Club America, who are on 34 points. At the bottom of the table, we've got Mazatlan and Necaxa at the moment as the table stands. Moving on to the Holland's Eredivisie then. So top of the table and champions are Feyenoord, 10 points clear of the nearest rival, PSV. So they are going into the Champions League next season. PSV, Ajax and AZ are all still battling it out for that Champions League qualification spot. Also the other European contenders as well for next season in the Europa League and the Conference League is of course Ajax, AZ, Twente, Sparta, Utrecht and Heerenveen. Waldwich also have an outside chance of getting into this final place here for the qualification playoffs for that European places. Bottom of the table, we've got Canberra, who are now relegated. We've also got Groningen, who are also relegated, and the men are in the relegation playoffs. So Excelsior and Volendam could still get dragged into those relegation playoff spots. Moving on to the Norway Eliteserien then. At the top of the table, we've got Bodo Glimt. 8 points clear so far early on in the season. Viken are second, followed by Brann. Bottom of the table at the moment is Ausland, 4 points to the name so far, 6 losses, 1 win, 1 draw. HamKam are also near the bottom of the table, closely followed by Hosland. Moving on to the Portuguese Liga Portugal then. Top of the table at the moment is Benfica. 2 points clear of Porto, so there's still a chance for Porto to nick that top spot, so it's going to go down to the final game in this division. They are of course also fighting for those Champions League spots as well. Braga find themselves in third place, so it looks like they've secured the Champions League qualification round now, and Sporting have also confirmed their place in the Conference League qualification. In terms of the other spot in the qualification for the Conference League, Victoria and Arouca are going to battle it out for that final place. Bottom of the table, we've got Santa Clara, now relegated. We've also got Pacos de Ferreira, who also look like they're going to mathematically get relegated as well. And Maritimo are in those relegation playoffs there. So the Russian Premier Division then, Zenit have been confirmed as the champions in this division. CSKA Moscow are second place, 54 points. We've got Torpedo at the bottom of the table, who have now been relegated. Kimiki, Parry and Fekel are all going to fight it out for Killer Savatov and Ural, also at risk of getting dragged into those relegation spots as well as we approach the final 2 games in the Russian Premier League. So on to the Premier Division now then. So Celtic are of course confirmed as champions. Rangers finished second behind them. It looks like Celtic are going to qualify for the Champions League next season. Looks like also Rangers are going to get into the qualification stage for the Champions League, and Aberdeen and Hearts are fighting it out for those place in the Conference League. The relegation round, Dundee sit bottom of the table currently, but it looks like it's going to be between Kilmarnock, Ross County and Dundee United fighting it out to avoid relegation. On to the Korean K-League then. So far 14 games in, Ulsan Hyundai are absolutely storming the division this season. Top of the table by 13 points. Won 12, drawn 1, lost 1. They're having a fantastic start to the season, Ulsan Hyundai. It looks like they're probably going to continue that form this season as well. Second is Seoul at the moment, followed by Jeju United, who find themselves in third position, so they're doing well this season. Bottom of the table at the moment, we've got Suwon Blue Wings, 2 wins, 2 draws, 10 losses so far for them. On to the Spanish La Liga then. About 3 more games to play in this division, but Barcelona have already been confirmed as champions, as you can see, 85 points, clear at the top of the table. It's looking likely that Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid are going to be getting those Champions League spots. In fact, it looks like it's pretty much confirmed. Real Sociedad and Villarreal are battling out for that 4th place finish there. And we also have a number of clubs going probably all the way down to Rayo Vallecano, battling out for those last European spots in the Europa League and the Conference League qualification. Bottom of the table, Elche being confirmed as relegated now. They can't avoid the drop, unfortunately. Espanyol, Real Valladolid, Getafe and Cadiz are potentially the ones that are still at risk of that relegation into the Spanish Liga 2. In terms of Spanish Liga 2 then, top of the table is Granada. One game left here, guys, so Las Palmas and Alaves could still potentially claim their spot at the top of the table and also win that promotion to the Spanish La Liga. Fighting out for the promotion playoffs though is Levante, Eibar, Albacete still have a chance, and Real Oviedo maybe have an outside chance of the promotion playoffs as well. Is likely going to be Alicante, Eibar, Levante as well. And like I say, Alaves still have an outside chance, potentially even Levante, of nicking that top spot as well with the final game of the season yet to play. Bottom of the table, we have Lugo have now been relegated. UD Ibiza have also been relegated as well. So have Ponferradina and Malaga. So on to the Switzerland Super League then. So Young Boys currently sit top. Looks like they've won the championship there. Well clear of second place Servette. Looks like they've booked their place in the Champions League qualification. Servette and Lugo and Lausanne looks like the teams battling it out for these European spots. Basel and also Grasshoppers also have an outside chance as well. Bottom of the table at the moment is Sion, but they could still avoid relegation, fighting it out with Winterthur. On to the Turkish Superliga then. Top of the table at the moment is Galatasaray. Looks like they're likely to be champions here. Fenerbahce are 5 points behind them. And Besiktas are also on joint points with Fenerbahce. So it's looking good for Champions League qualification for Galatasaray. And it looks like also Fenerbahce and Besiktas are going to be qualifying for those Conference League qualification. Bottom of the table is Hatayspor and Gaziantep, although it is being confirmed that they have been withdrawn from the tournament. I think that's due to the earthquakes that did go on in those countries and those cities, unfortunately. So they did withdraw from the competition. I think that's probably something that the Turkish Superliga introduced. Obviously, it wasn't fair for them. Disadvantage, obviously, due to the earthquakes. And a lot of their players actually moved to different clubs on loan. So the official bottom of the table now is Giresunspor and Aramyurspor. So it looks like they're potentially going to get relegated there. Istanbulspor are also fighting out to avoid the drop. And the final table then is the MLS, the American MLS. The current standings then, Cincinnati found themselves top. Fantastic season for them so far. 5 points clear of the nearest rival, Los Angeles, although Los Angeles do have a game in hand. Bottom of the table at the moment, we've found LA Galaxy, which is a bit of a surprise. Closely followed by Kansas City, although Kansas City have been showing a little bit better form recently, although in the last game they did get beat 4-0 away to St. Louis City. So that was all the updates from the leagues around Sorare, the leagues that are covered on Sorare. Now we'll be doing these league updates now every single week with the live leagues that are in play, so do make sure you still stick around to the channel, subscribe, sign up if you're not signed up to Sorare using the link below. You can also pick up your free ebook as well, links are in the description below. Okay guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you again on the next video.